Hello everyone, and welcome back to another Overwatch video. Today I'm going to be mostly just reviewing some Platinum ranked Brigitte gameplay, and I'm talking a little quieter because it's night and I don't want to wake people, so I hope you don't mind this ASMR soft spoken review. But here we are on attack, and our spoiler alert, our first push doesn't end up going super well. I wasn't necessarily prepared for them to jump and push in all over the place and dive, so that was mostly my fault, and also slightly lack of communication. However, we do end up kind of regaining our focus, and I was more in the mindset now, so I was watching for people to dive, like the Winston. Our Moira got hooked there, which is really sad, but thankfully our Winston went jumping onto the Hanzo. So with this new sense of direction, I'm like, okay, I have a feeling what we're going to do. We get those nice call-outs. One thing I will say is that this team had a great tendency to communicate. I probably should have been a little bit more careful. Thankfully, I got a Baptiste lamp, a mortality field. I would have died if I didn't. And additionally, I could have saved my shield bash for Moira. There, I shield bashed Roadhog from healing him, and then I instantly pop my rally. I often try to save rally, and sometimes it can be a nice ultimate to save if you know you are going straight into another fight. However, I'm starting to get in the mindset of using it more often, so you can build it more often and get multiple uses, because sometimes I'll just keep it in my arsenal and never use it until the last minute, and I'm like, whoa, I could have gotten 3 other uses out of that this whole game. So our BAP was down, so I realized I'm the only healer, and that's one bad thing about Brigitte, is that her healing is very much determined by how close you are to enemies and how many armor packs you are willing to give up. I might make a video about some buffs I'd like to see to Brigitte and a couple other supports, but in general I would probably like to see, I mean, I know the shield just got nerfed, but I would like to see if her shield was increased to 300 instead of 200, because it's just so very weak. And with her lack of range, it can be very difficult to actually survive. Here, I believe I end up going down. Do I? I tried to stun her out of the coalescence, but I failed. And then I kind of panicked a bit, and I freaked out, so I just started flailing. Probably shouldn't have. But then, once again, in this competitive game, we kind of lose our momentum. But I was very grateful to my team that we were able to regain. I call it the Moira. Always good to call out Moiras wherever they are. And then Roadhog is a little bit out of position, so I get a couple hits off, starting my Inspire, and then I see that we are starting to dive, so I pop my Rally. I often want to pop Rally before. Oh, and I keep armor packs to heal people up. We get a lot of kills, and we end up getting a team kill. But with Rally, I tend to use it before we go into the fight. Sometimes you can get some use out of it while you're in a fight, because it will pulse armor. However, if you build up more armor before you actually start taking damage, it'll help you in the long run, because it's no longer just like a sustain. I start to stun him because I thought he was going to try to contest, but then Sombra comes in and EMPs, and I get shot at. So that was a lot of fun. Here I started to, I kept looking just to make sure I have gold. I'm at least doing gold healing or silver, and if so silver, communicate with your other healer, ask how much they're doing, just to maybe see how much you are healing. And one thing I also partially focus on is how much armor I'm providing. With the buff to armor in the recent balance patch, with it reducing damage by 5 instead of two or three, you can get more use out of armor. So don't be afraid to overheal someone just a little bit, because it does now prevent them from taking more damage. It's typically good against Sombras, people with sustained damage, rather spike damage. So the enemies we were fighting against, such as the Sombra, were nice, and even like Sigma and Zarya, and maybe Orisa. But the Hanzo could be a bit difficult because of the spike damage. Here I'm trying to stay back a little bit because I'm really beginning to alter my play style as Brigitte. Make sure you know that you can go in, like assisting your tanks, such as in this moment, putting a rally. I've already used rally 3 times this game, just this one push. So don't be afraid to use it. You can get it pretty quickly if you are gaining multiple heals and dealing damage. But if you know your team isn't super comfortable with going in and actually allowing you to get in range to attack, then it could be a bit more wise to save your rally sometimes. But as I was saying, with Brigitte, it's a lot about changing your mindset now, because you do have lower survivability, and you have limited range. So if you get in there, you don't really have an escape ability. So make sure if you are going in, that you are have the assistance of tanks, your other supports, and of course damage. Make sure you're pushing in with multiple people and not just yourself. Here we have the 3-0. And now we're moving on to defense. Oftentimes, I like playing Brigitte on defense, but these past couple of matches today, I've actually really enjoyed playing Brigitte on attack, because you can really get in and push with another shield, and actively stun and knock people back. But I do prefer her on defense to other supports. Supports I like to play on defense include Brigitte, Moira, and Baptiste. Attacking, I really enjoy Mercy, Moira, Anna, and now more so Brigitte. Here, we have a really easy time with them, and their enemy team doesn't really get a strong push, so we're really able to abuse them a little. We're taking advantage of their lack of coordination or lack of a strong push, and we might be on defense, but we are being very aggressive. I just want to get some damage off on the Sigma shield, just to break it as much as possible. That's not a pet peeve of mine, when people don't actually actively break shields, and you're like, what? Throwing my armor packs. I try to give a couple seconds between each armor pack, just to have a cooldown reduced, and also make sure that I'm not just blowing them. Sometimes I accidentally blow them. However, in dire situations where they're at, like, 20% of their health and they need it, like right there, would have been really nice for the Winston, and you have multiple charges, it's okay to spam, because they need the healing, and especially if they're a tank, they're gonna need all that. Then I rally, I back up while shielding, because I would have died to the Zarya beam. Zarya's kind of got fed. I stun the Reaper there, I knock him back because I started feeling uncomfortable. And jumping with your shield is nice to gain more distance, because while you have your shield up, you are a bit slower. So yeah, don't be afraid to get in a little bit, but of course be ready and raring to back up with your shield. And don't be afraid to, what I tend to do, because her shield is so low right now, if they ever buffed her shield a little bit to 300 health, it would feel much, I feel like Brigitte would be in an amazing spot. Just a little bit more self-sustain, and also somewhat of an off-tank. But with her reduced shield, you gotta kind of shield spam a little bit while you're backing up. Press it, let it drop, take some damage, use your shield, let it drop, take a little bit more damage. If your shield might start regenerating a little bit, if you can, which is good. But if push comes to shove, let your barrier die. in pursuit of your own survival. And then we have Winston. He didn't really do much. He wasn't with multiple people. There was just a Reaper. I knocked him back. Often with the web shot, I really like it just to, like, you know, cause, inspire, to trigger. And then we just kind of back up because we were starting to feel that they might. I was really impressed because I heard the Reaper and I was like, oh, let me look up because they typically drop. I managed to stun him out of Death Blossom, which is always something you want to look for. Stunning out of Death Blossom, stunning Roadhogs, and stunning Reinhardts, and what was the other one? Oh, and Moiras. Those are really key enemies to stun. And we are coming down to the wire here, kind of. Just keeping armor on people and shields, especially. That's another thing. If you are playing with a dive character, and you want to shield them to reduce their damage, by all means, go ahead. Thank you everyone so much for watching. All my links are down below. Like the video if you liked it. Comment below on this video or another one. There's a police car in the background, and subscribe for more Overwatch stuff, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye everyone, take care.